Welcome to MAGA country. Welcome back, all liberty lovers. Woo. Like the shirt? Check that out. Hippies for Trump. On the back it says 45. My lovely wife made that for the rally. But anyways, I'm talking kind of quiet. I'm going to switch the camera around. This morning when I woke up to bring my kids to work, I was left with this lovely, lengthy, beautiful comment. If you would like to read it, it is on maybe 3 videos ago, where it's like, welcome back, whatever, blase, blase. I'm walking around the yard showing how I recycle everything and got bees and chickens and trying to live in harmony with the earth and all that, all that stuff. The average is like that hippy dippy stuff or whatever. But anyways, today I want to discuss a little bit about these signs that I made for the Trump rally. What is Hippies for Trump? And maybe you can understand a little bit more about me. If I'm all over the place and you can't follow me, or if I'm touching on subjects you don't know about, everything I'm speaking is to what I find truth. And like I said, read the comment and maybe you can understand it a little bit better. But anyways, these are the signs I made. Probably cost a little over $100 when I went to the Trump rally. I was there, let's see, I got there a little after 10 o'clock. The rally started about 7. I held signs the entire time, even after the rally started. No, the rally didn't start. The president was late, and I actually got to go with Secret Service in the back where he drove in. I have footage on my GoPro, and I would definitely try to get that up. But anyways, so welcome to MAGA country, right? The whole juicy smell it thing happened, and supposedly the fake hate crime, because I don't know if racism really exists. I believe that is a form of slavery we hold ourselves to, right? But that's another topic for another day. Welcome to MAGA country. The whole purpose of me doing this, my previous YouTube name, which I had good intentions for. I met a couple cool people, actually interviewed, 2 really great people, Anthropos from the You Don't Know channel, and he actually has the interview on his. And then with this awesome lady, the real Yvonne, I found her because she was going through, the pizza information, and she was reading emails and things like this, and she was really cool. We're still friends, all that jazz. But unity, not division, and truth over deception. Right now, we're being deceived on every front. Anytime we turn on the television, which is what Hitler was trying to achieve, a way to propagandize and brainwash the masses through an everyday object. And we can clearly see that with things like Obama lifting the Schmidt-Munt Act in 2014, allowing propaganda on American citizens on American soil. We can see that propaganda is used on a daily basis to influence us, whether it be the music, the products we buy, the entertainment for sure. But not only is it used for brainwash, you can go back and see the patents where through flashing and the waves and subliminal messaging, these are all patents, so it's proven to work, and it's been able to be replicated in order to get the patent. And when you go down the avenue of MK Ultra and things, which is not really spoke about, you really learn a lot. I've been a student of alternative information for, over 20 years. I've come across a lot of data, a lot of patents, and there's a lot there's a reason why everything's switched from analog to digital. And when you understand subliminal messaging, splicing, putting in frames, really fast that we don't pick up, but our subconscious does. You'll understand more about the television, and that is why I choose not to partake in it. It's been years since I've actually like sit down and, oh, my show's on, I need to watch my show. I'll fall asleep if the wife is watching something on Netflix, which I think is the #1 propaganda outlet tool being used right now, but that's for another time. First Amendment is anti-censorship. And like I said, the reason why I even did this, Trump was coming, I love Michael Savage. Michael Savage is one of the best people I've probably came across in my existence. He he was a hippie growing up. He traveled the world collecting plant species from endangered areas, native tribes. His plant collections found in like the Smithsonian and in Europe. He has his doctorate in epidemiology. He started out as a social worker. He realized the people on these welfare programs were living better than him, even though he had went to college and has a degree. Then, he understood that I guess like the socialism type views that he had as a child would not really work. I really value Michael Savage. And so, with seeing groups like Antifa or the left and, Democrats fighting to, shadow banning, not allowing people to speak. I mean, speak. We're at a time in life where words are affecting and hurting people. They really have trigger warning signs, areas for grown people to color. When I say grown, I mean college students. It is really insane that words would be so offensive. It just blows my mind. So First Amendment is anti-censorship. I made this sign just to bring awareness that we all have the right to say what's on our mind. We don't have to agree with each other. We don't have to, I guess so many words running through my head, but anyways, First Amendment is anti-censorship. The old saying is, I may not agree with you, but I'll fight by your side to stand for your right to speak. And we've lost that value, right? This is one of the favorite signs. Everybody, I was standing in line, for 8 hours, 9 hours, and everybody was taking pictures. I was even on the president's Facebook page. I was shared thousands of times. On my Twitter, Hippies4TRUMP, I had a person in New Mexico or Arizona. They made some Hippies4TRUMP shirts. It was really cool that just an idea of mine to express myself, to bring awareness to certain topics, would touch people in a way that in other states I've never met. They're making shirts saying Hippies4TRUMP. That was really cool. I had my middle son with me because I need to instill in them that it is worth to stand up for your rights. If you don't stand up for your rights and you expect someone else to, next thing you know, you'll have none. So, coup d'etat of the Democrats, not POTUS. We have been witnessing a coup d'etat towards the POTUS. A coup d'etat is the seizure of power through government. So, we've seen fake allegations. We've seen 3 years of taxpayer funding towards an impeachment process. Before the impeachment process, the Mueller report, to try to get this duly elected president impeached, right? To get him out. So, coup d'etat of the Democrats, not the POTUS. I personally believe that the Democrats do not have the citizens' best interest at hand. We can see this by Nancy Pelosi taking money out of the Social Security program to fund their coup d'etat. You have people like Ilhan Omar, who is stated several times in her action show she's trying to amend the Constitution and implement Sharia law. She is not an American native. She comes from Somalia, and she's trying to bring their way of life into ours. I can go on and on, but let's keep it moving. Google spirit cooking. This sign caught a tremendous amount of people offhand. You know, a lot of people were like, "Hey, man, what was that one sign, spirit cooking? What was that all about?" So if you Google spirit cooking, Google image spirit cooking, you know, it's pretty self-explanatory. And over the 20 years of alternative information, I've came across different, how do I put this? Different, it's religions, right? Let's call it a religion, a practice, a way of life. And who am I to fault the next man? You know, we all have free will. We all have the right to choose. And we all see things in different lenses. And so who am I to say that's wrong, even though I don't personally agree with it? It's not for me to judge, I feel. So if you Google spirit cooking, you'll see a world-renowned woman by the name of Maria Abramovich. And Adam Schiff actually was, during the Senate process, talked about Trump and his lawyers not having the decency, and used the example of Trump attacking Maria Abramovich through his Twitter. Now, when you look at the Google image spirit cooking, you will see people like Hillary Clinton, Podesta, Jay-Z, you know, Beyonce, Will Ferrell, a lot of these famous actors, right? And people in the entertainment industry, and majority, some government officials, majority on the Democrat, progressive, left, whatever you want to call it, side. And when she's doing a private party, she calls this a ritual. But when she does this in public, it's a form of art. And what is achieved, or how this process works, is you take all the bodily fluids, breast milk, blood, semen, feces, urine, and you mix that up. You have an effigy in a corner of a room. You say some words, chant some things, pour some on the effigy, and then you start writing, or she starts writing on the wall, and she comes out with these phrases. One of the phrases is, get a knife, cut a deep wound into your left finger, left hand, and eat the pain, something like that, right? And we can see that picture with Podesta holding up his hands with a fish in it and a 14, and his hand has been cut. So exactly how it was wrote on the wall. This was real mind-blowing. And like I said, who am I to say this is wrong? Whatever, I have my personal beliefs, but I just don't think that the people that are doing this has the best interest of the American spirit, the American people, so on and so on, because with this comes a lot of other things, and it's those other things, not necessarily this, that concerns me, that a ruler with the power they have, what they would do to the masses, right? I can go on about this, but let's keep it moving. Democrats are acting tyrannical. Wake up. Basically, what this sign means to me is that it speaks for itself. Wanting to get rid of the First Amendment, wanting to get rid of the Second Amendment. You have Project Veritas that just came out with the head, Bernie Sanders, head field operator, you know, talking about opening the gulags. Do it like, not Mao, do it like Stalin, you know, opening these re-education camps. Said several times that Bernie's on the same page with him, that we need to round up the traditional Americans, you know, the conservatives, the Trump supporters, put them in re-education camps, and if the guillotines need to swing, then so be it. I mean, this Project Veritas, that's the reason why they were kicked off of Twitter. Guaranteed. So, that's definitely worth finding. Democrats are acting tyrannical. Wake up. I mean, it's so obvious that I don't really need to go any further into that. Socialism, there's an actual equal sign right there. The time it would take, and every single one of these has like a message on the back, on the front, and then the back of them, they were all like a, just a little phrase all pertaining to Trump, right? But the front was like the punch in the face, and then the back was like a slap on the back, right? Anyways, socialism equals slavery. Get off the Democrat plantation. Some would say that we're all slaves, and for that I definitely agree. I don't believe that we were designed, right? Because we are living in a creation, and we are designed by a higher power. Whatever you believe that higher power is, the statement I made is 100% truth and valid statement. With that being said, we are not made to wake up, go to work, come home, wake up, go to work, come home, get the bills paid, wake up, go to work, come home, get the bills paid. It's a endless rat race, a wheel, never ending. On the other hand, we do get to enjoy the beauty of life through our labors and our fruit. So, do I think the current fiat currency thing could be improved, or more conscious for the everyday? Absolutely. But when we have a group of government that is wanting to do welfare, and when I get people down and out, I'm talking about career, I'm talking about they're wanting to implement a universal income, food stamp, this type of stuff, that caps you, right? They want, Bernie Sanders says something like 75 to 90% tax, and he said, of course it would have to be on the middle class. All these people think that, it's only going to be the corporations, the millionaires and billionaires. Look, Amazon got 189 million back, doesn't pay taxes. Xerox pays less than 1% of taxes. Same with Facebook, Google, all this jazz. And I know they're creating jobs, and I know there's tax cuts and all. I understand all that. But there is no way. Most of these people, almost all these people, are big-time donors to the Democrat Party. There is no way they're going to go after the hand that feeds them. It's all going to trickle down to us. It's going to be us stuck with the taxes on the rich, paying for all these social programs, the Green New Deal, over $100 trillion. Recently, Bernie was asked about how much it would cost to implement his ideas. Bernie's reply was, he doesn't know. He can't put a number on that. How can you put a dollar value on those ideas? So, socialism is slavery. Get off the Democrat plantations. The Democrats are pushing for socialism. It will never work. If you're a student of history, you could pull up example after example how the people were promised, and they got the exact opposite of what they fought for. So socialism is slavery, and everyone needs to get off the Democrat plantation. The Second Amendment shall not be infringed. There's really nothing more I should say on that. I personally believe everybody deserves the right to defend themselves. If everyone had a gun on them, I don't think there would be these mass shootings. We can look at these mass shootings and see that, it's over 90-something% is all in gun-free zones. Israel, no fan am I have called them out plenty of times. They've only had 2 school shootings, and this shit stopped in the 80s. After the second one, they made every teacher have a gun. Hold on, all the time. They keep one on them. They go through weekly, monthly training. They have to stay on the training. And since the 80s, only their second mass shooting at a school, they've not had one, of 30 years now. Over 30 years now. Guns are not the problem. It's the people. We need to educate people. And yes, should there be restrictions? Sure, a pure schizophrenic, whatever. But at the same time, I do believe they deserve to defend themselves. And not to mention, most of us are law-abiding citizens, right? So when there's over 20,000 gun laws on the books in this country, when another gun law is made, one less person gets to defend themselves. The criminal is a criminal who will get the gun any way necessary. A murder is totally 100% illegal, yet people murder it all the time. Selling heroin is 100% illegal. Some states it's the death penalty, even for residue in a bag, heroin. But yet, that's the number one drug problem in America right now, So just because a law is made does not mean you're going to be protected, So the only way to really protect yourself is to depend solely on yourself. And the best way is to own a firearm. Wall equals peace, love, and nation. We're a country. A country has borders. If you don't have a border, you are not a country. It is not hateful to have a wall. And I do believe it creates peace. So, that's what the wall means to me. This was probably absolutely my favorite saying during the Trump campaign's push to become president. One of the debates, he said, Americanism, not globalism. That is our credo. And God, I love that. Love it. Dems, stop racist propaganda. We're all Americans. It doesn't matter where you come from, what color you are, what class of society you live in. We are all Americans. We are all one. And if we came together as Americans, as one, that's when real change would happen. Real change is not going to happen through government. Real change is not going to happen by a man or woman creating a law. Real change will only happen when we can understand each other, we can talk to each other, and we can come up with viable solutions to help one another, right? You should depend on yourself. You should be self-reliant. But with that said, it is a nice thing to have society, having your back. And right now in this country, we are so divided. That was really the reason why I did this. Especially with my kids. I had my kids there witness this. And it's so many people, orange man bad, or Nazis, or we got a group of thugs putting bike locks and bandanas, busting old people upside their head. We have groups of thugs blocking the roadway so people can't go to work to take care of their family and feed their family. It is insane what's really going on in this country. And I did it, I had a lot of people come up to me, a lot of young people, and they're like, man, that's awesome. And I was like, free speech, fight for it before you lose it. And so my whole goal was to open the eyes of people, or maybe put thought in ideas in people that they wouldn't normally consider or think of, and maybe to inspire at least one person to stand up for their liberties and freedoms, because as we all know, they seem to be at stake here. They're really fighting to get rid of our God-given rights. God, faith, country, family. It's your duty. And I believe it's in that order, I think we should always put the Creator first. you know, our country. You know, if our country's not well, our family's not going to do well. And you can swap country with family, you know. But I see this country as one big family. And this family needs healing. We need to understand each other. We need to come together. And we need to, you know, respect one another. And like I said, just because I say a word and I hurt your feelings, you know, that it, we should be more evolved than to get our feelings hurt over a word. Oh yeah, everyone had hashtag we do not consent, and then on the back hashtag power to the people. So check out those hashtags. They're pretty cool. And I got a couple more, but those are just kind of protect capitalism and re-elect Trump. Even though capitalism is not 100% perfect, and there is crony capitalism, I do believe right now capitalism is the absolute best idea, or the absolute best what is the word I'm looking for? Way, means to run the world. You know, with true capitalism, with honest, fair capitalism, everyone has the same opportunity, and that is a honest statement. You get what you put in. As hard as you work, you know, you get to set your cap. You get to say, you know, I'm going to do this, I want to achieve this, and it's only you that will stop yourself. No matter what someone calls you, no matter what someone does, you get to control your destiny. You know, get a higher education, train for this, learn that, what have you. I'm a third generation tile guy, man. I build beautiful things, waterfalls, showers, whatever, you know. And capitalism, you know, it's up to me how much money I want to make. It's up to me how much I want to work. If I don't hustle, if I don't get jobs, I'm not working, you know. And if we lived in a socialism utopia, you know, we'll all be we'll be told what we get to do. We'll be told how much we get to make. We'll be capped. You know, our limits will be set by government and not by us. And so I definitely think we need to protect capitalism. As of right now, I really don't understand or I can't comprehend any other viable mechanism to see the world operate on than capitalism. But every sign had a recycle symbol. When I was in the 4th grade, I started this campaign to recycle juice boxes. This was in the early 90s. And at that time, you know, by the year 2000, there was going to be an ice age, or we're not going to be able to go outside without wearing respirators. We were hit with all these messages in our classrooms. You know, videos about Bill Nye and whatnot. And so I've always been about recycling, I guess, because of this, which is a good thing. It's a very good thing to be self-conscious and to want to take care of the place we inhabit and leave it better for the future generations. I'm 100% behind that. That's why in my previous video, you'll see all that, you know, junk, cans, metal, anything I can repurpose, recycle, reuse. I'm 100% behind, and I am doing it. But back to the story. In 4th grade, I started a campaign to recycle juice boxes, and they were cardboard. And I thought it was really cool because for 2 days I got to sit during the lunch area, you know, about a 2-hour time span. I got to get out of class and sit in the lunchroom and allow the students to sign. And it was a very successful campaign. It did go to the school board. The 5th year, the following year, I was in 5th grade. I was actually elected to president of the student council, and it was me and this young lady. I forget her name, but it was actually a tie. We both had the exact number of votes. Unfortunately, I ended up losing my position because I was just a mischievous child and didn't really care about the school, work per se. So unfortunately, I wasn't able to finish the year as the president, but it was because I did a campaign to recycle juice boxes that got me into that position. I remember the signs my mom, she's so, God bless my mom, I love her, but we had like Power Ranger signs, and it would say like elect, and it was really fun. It was a great time. And so yeah, right now they actually recycle juice boxes in that district, and I don't believe I got any recognition. I don't even need recognition, because I know that I did this. I know it's 100% the truth, and I know that the end result, they're recycling juice boxes right now. So that's just one of the coolest achievements. And to know that, being in the 4th grade, I was able to achieve something like that. And we're talking about one of the top 3 major cities in America, so that was extreme, one of my best achievements, and so at a young age I've been, conscious and a caring soul, and that's why, I started the bee thing, recycle, things like this. But every sign has that recycle sign, because even though global warming and climate change is a hoax, and you can go to Harvard, and Dr. Keith Richards, I believe is his name, from Harvard, with the seeding and the aerosol, and stratosphere aerosol injections and whatever. There's even mainstream articles. They're hoping to through these aluminum particles, they're hoping to refract the sun rays and send some of the sun rays back into the atmosphere or the space, or to combat climate change and global warming, which I think we're seeing the adverse effects of these this spring. You can look at California when the wildfires were happening. They had trees that were like actually burning from the inside out. It looked like lava coming out from inside of the tree, and I believe that is from the aluminum that these trees are taking in. I absolutely believe it was a DEW. You can check that out. But bees are, this is one of the reasons why on top of the Monsantos and the spraying and agriculture, the chemicals and things, along with those and the plane farts, the aluminum is causing the bees to actually get Alzheimer's. They're forgetting their purpose. They're not making honey. They're not taking care of the colonies. This is one reason why the population of bees are on the decline. And it's just real coincidental that the spraying has been going on for 20 years now. More than that. You can go to Operation Popeye in Vietnam and see that they were cloud seeding and weather engineering things. But the bees are actually getting Alzheimer's, and so they're not going to get the pollen. They're not creating honey. They're forgetting their sole purpose in life. Since they were created, they had one thing: pollinate the flowers, make honey, take care of the hive. They have, for time immemorial, they've been doing this. And it's been, last couple of years, the research has shown that bees are getting Alzheimer's, and they're forgetting their purpose. And I got family members affected by this, and I've had family members affected by this. And I think, when you're outside doing yard work every day, and them planes are above you, it's going to affect you. And we see that these numbers are on the rise. And I, I think maybe their intentions were good, but the end result we're finding out now is very detrimental. So, but the only thing that can change this is awareness, is speaking up, is educating our fellow neighbor. And just I don't know. It'll never stop. The business is too big. It'll never stop. But that goes to the crony capitalism thing, right? But everybody seize the day. Make the best of it. Be thankful that you get to enjoy another blessed day in creation. And thanks for stopping by. I would like for you to go read that comment, and maybe you can understand this a little bit better. But there's so much more in this world than politics, right? And I absolutely love politics. That's all I pay attention to. That and theories of the conspiracy. But we understand that MK Ultra is real. We understand that propaganda is real. Like I said, the Schmidt-Mundt Act was lifted by Obama in 2014, and that's why we see things like Thornburg getting praised, and people like Leonardo DiCaprio, flying on these jets and on these yachts as big as cruises with just a handful of people. Their carbon footprint in 1 year is probably bigger than what I'll have in my whole life. But yet they're touted as, gods doing the work of whatever, because they're spreading the propaganda called global warming and climate change. I mean, in the Von Kauf in the Von Kauf ice crystals. In the Russia, what they did was they dug into, I guess it was like the North Pole, and they ice drilling, the Von Kauf ice drillings, I think is what it is, and they were able to see over the thousands of years different times of like carbon and what the atmosphere was like and things, and it showed that there were several ice ages, and it showed that there were actually higher levels of carbon in the past than we have now. And what it really showed is that it's not man, man does have a effect on things, don't get me wrong, 100%, but nature takes its course, it changes. It's not always the same, just like Pangea, right? The continents moved, and the North Pole and South Pole GPS guide markers, they move how many feet every year. Some they move. So the world is constantly evolving, the world is constantly shifting and changing, and so that's why we see maybe storms in different areas that weren't in the past, along with things like HARP. And I'm not talking about the senior citizens program, but the high altitude radio research program, radio frequency research program. Essentially what it is like a mile square full of antennas, every so often, antenna, rows and rows. And the idea was to, through radio frequency signals, we would be able to create a bubble into the ozone layer, so that these currents, right, like the EOC current and things, the current would go up into this bubble and maybe go and then go a different direction, thus being able to control weather. And they thought that if they built 3 of these sites, one is in Alaska, one is in Singapore, I want to say, and I want to say South America, but I'm not quite sure. But at the time, they wanted 3 of these. Now China is just seen a headline. China is making one of these sites as big as it was a state. I don't want to. I want to say Texas, but it might not have been that big. But anyways, so we have other government HARRP program. I'm talking about the United States. We have other countries wanting to do this as well, and so this is a concern, along as same with the geo. I try to restrict the words. From watching other channels, I see like the algo rhythm kind of flag people or delete channels. So when I kind of skate around words, it's for a purpose. But anyways, I'm rambling. Y'all have a blessed day. This has been 40 minutes, and thank you, Dawn or something. Hopefully you watch this video, man. I made this pretty much solely for you, dude. But I appreciate the comment, and have a wonderful day. Peace.